Breaking news. The White House has confirmed an agreement reached to extend the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas for 2 additional days.
The announcement comes on the final day of a 4-day truce between the two sides at war. Hamas says it has agreed to the terms. Israel has not yet confirmed its response, and the full terms of the deal have not yet been disclosed. Israeli officials had previously said it would be open to extending the pause in fighting a day for every 10 hostages that were released. Dozens of Israeli hostages and more than 100 Palestinian prisoners were freed over the weekend. That includes a 4-year-old girl who was the first American to be released.
CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano joins us now from Tel Aviv, Israel. Lilia, thank you for joining us. So we're gonna be on track for 40 Israelis released as of today. If this goes another 2 days, that will be 60. It's a pretty big chunk of the hostages that are known to be in Gaza right now. But the terms of the deal, do they remain the same or have they changed?
Tony, there is no indication that the terms of the deal have changed. We don't know the fine print as the 4th day of the ceasefire would come to an end tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Now the good news is that there are 2 more days where the fighting is supposed to continue to be halted. Right now, today, there are another, on top of those 40 hostages that have been released, that doesn't include foreign nationals who have also been released. We expect another 11 or so to come out today. And as you mentioned, if the deal remains as is, that means there's going to be another 10 tomorrow, another 10 on Tuesday or Wednesday, which is very welcome news to both, to Israelis who are waiting for their family members and certainly to Palestinians in Gaza who have been dying by the thousands. So at this point, what we know is things should remain as they are. It took some time. These negotiations have taken time. Sometimes they have come to a halt, but thanks to the intermediary work of Qatar, these 2 additional days have been achieved. We know the majority of the hostages that have been released so far have been children, 22 in total, women 17 in total, 1 man. Of the women, many of them were the mothers of the children that were released, but there were and still are at least a couple of mothers whose children were released, but they haven't. Whether that is because Hamas can't track them down, can't find them, or for some other reason, that also has slowed down the negotiations. Israel demanding that the women be released with their children. There are also concerns here in Israel for children that may not have been found yet. There is one 9 or 10-month-old baby. We talked to his relatives who has not been released. And people thought, look, the youngest baby of all of the hostages, they expected him to come out first. But we don't know if he's going to come out within the 11 that we expect today, or if perhaps they might not know where this baby is. So there's a great deal of hope that a significant number of, or depends on who you ask, but more hostages will come out beyond today. But there's concerns that Hamas might not know where all of them are.
Lilia, we've been hearing some really horrific stories of the conditions that these hostages were held in. Talk to us a little bit about what you have been reporting on all weekend, what the release process looked like, and could we possibly see further extensions in the days ahead?
So the conditions, of course, we still have to wait longer to hear more stories. We are hearing from family members of the hostages. We are hearing that, we're seeing the hostages in better conditions than their families' worst nightmares, of course. As you know, Emily Henn's dad, who's talked to CBS News several times, we heard him at the beginning of this whole process, thinking, that he couldn't even imagine what was the fate of his child. At one point, it wasn't known whether she was alive or dead, and now we've finally seen that family reunion, as well as many other reunions. The hostages, one of them, an elderly 84-year-old hostage who was released yesterday, is in critical condition. But for the most part, they have been all stable, which is very welcome news to their families. In terms of how they were held, details of the detention, where they were. We have heard that perhaps some of them were held in the same rooms, but that we will learn later on. The Israeli military, the government, and the experts who are dealing with these hostages are giving them time to heal before asking and before briefing and asking the toughest questions. But we'll keep reporting from here, and in the next hours, we expect another group of hostages to come home, as well as another group of Palestinian prisoners to get home outside of Gaza, outside of Israeli prisons, rather. Meg, Tony.
Lilia Luciano, normally here on Mondays, instead is there, doing a great job. Lilia, thank you very much.